We are live once again. I haven't gone live in a little while. I have been a little bit busy, but spring training is around the corner, and I wanted to talk some Mets and Yankees baseball. If anyone watching this in the future or right now would like to call up and talk to me, leave a comment, I'm always more than happy to engage with you guys. I don't claim to be a baseball analyst, let's say, or any sport for that matter. I'm a fan, just like you guys. So, yeah, there's that. So I guess I just want to see if I'm gonna take any callers for a second here. Give me 1 minute. Okay, well, I will start yapping. So, we'll start with the Yankees because I feel like there's a little bit less to talk about there with the Yankees. So, with the Yankees, we have a repeat of 25, it looks like. Well, not looks like, it is. We have a repeat of the 2025 Yankees. We brought back Goldschmidt. We brought back Paul Oldshit. Very interesting move. We'll get into that a little bit later. Bellinger's back, which was huge. I talked about all offseason how the Yankees pretty much needed Bellinger back. Still got Judge, still got Jazz. The Yankees didn't add anything at all. What the Yankees are now doing is fully running it back. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We'll get into it a little bit more right now. So, I don't want to say that the Yankees running it back is necessarily a bad thing, because this was a 90-plus win ball club last year who made the playoffs, lost to the AL champions and the Toronto Blue Jays. But this was a team that wasn't bad. But that's half of the problem with the Yankees right now, is that they'll never be bad. The Yankees will never be bad. As long as I've been alive, as long as you have been alive, no matter what age you are watching this, even if you are 85 years old, the Yankees have never been bad. Well, in the 80s, they weren't great, but you get the point here. I think the Yankees have made the playoffs in, the last 10 years at least. It's definitely more, though. But regardless, the Yankees are never bad. Because the Yankees are never bad is a reason that they won't do much. The Yankees aren't going to spend like the big bad Yankees used to. This is Hal. This isn't George. And with Cashman as the GM, things get a little, I don't want to say dicey, because again, the Yankees are never bad, so it's hard to blame Hal when the Yankees always have a winning team on the field. They just haven't gotten over that hump of winning it all in what? How many years is that now? 2009, so that's 19. That's 15, 16 years we're talking now. It's kind of unacceptable. But regardless, this was a 90-win ball team last year, and they are essentially running it back. Ahmed Rosario's back. McCann is back. Old Shit's back. Jazz is back. Rice is back. Wells is back. If you follow the Yankees, they have the same exact lineup. It was interesting to see Aaron Judge get up on the podium spring training about 2 or 3 days ago and talk about how in the beginning of the offseason, he said, we're the Yankees. Let's just go for it. We're the New York Yankees. Let's add some pieces here. Is that a shot at the front office? Was that a kind of a misleading thing? Was he saying like, oh, we got Bellinger back, so like it's all good? I personally took it as kind of a shot towards the Yankees. Listen, I am not a big guy in the blow things out of proportion in the media. As you can see, I'm a Met fan. I can't stand it, really. Every day the talking point is, Oh, what was the problem in the locker room? Was it politics? Do Soto and Lindor like each other? I hate all that crap. Okay, because it's not baseball. I like to talk baseball. I don't like to talk drama. This isn't reality TV. Okay, we're not in these locker rooms. We're not Aaron Judge. We're not Carlos Mendoza. We're not any of these guys. We don't know what goes on. We don't know what they're thinking or feeling. But with that being said, this was publicly said by Judge himself. So there is something to read in between the lines of here. Was he hinting that the Yankees didn't do enough in the offseason? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe he was saying in the beginning of the offseason, is which he said as well. Maybe he was saying like, hey, listen, that was his plea to go sign Bellinger. Go get Bellinger back. Go get, Rosario back, whatever the case might have been. But if he is talking about it in the sense of they didn't do enough, he's right. They didn't do enough. I understand that you get Cole back. That's like an addition. I also don't think Yankee fans find this very shocking, as Brian Cashman had kind of hinted at the fact that the trade deadline pieces of the 25 season was the offseason. I personally think that's kind of a slap in the face to Yankee fans because this is a franchise that is used to getting whoever they want, whenever they want. But it really hasn't worked like that. They lost out on Soto to free agency. They didn't go after Tucker. They didn't go after Peralta. They didn't go after anyone. They were in the mix for Cabrera, but it came out that they weren't really in the mix for Edward Cabrera. So it's like they were just monitoring situations, checking in, as I've talked about in the past, and that ridiculous nonsense. We were checking in on this guy and that guy, but nothing ever came to be. So instead, we'll bring back Paul Oldshit. Again, for the fifth time I've said this was not a bad team last year. So you shouldn't be too discouraged if you are a Yankee fan or a player on the Yankees. The bad part about running it back is that you didn't win. You didn't win the World Series last year. And while they did have statistically the best offense in baseball, I think Yankee fans can attest to this as well. You kind of had the feeling that going into the playoffs, at least, that this Yankees team didn't have what it took to win the World Series. And even if they did make it out of the AL, they weren't going to beat the Dodgers. Is there anything different this going into the 2026 season? Not at all. What the Yankees have to hope for, and maybe this is what the plan is, according to their analytic team or their scouting department, maybe this is the plan. But maybe the hope is that Dominguez takes the next step. Ben Rice takes the next step. Austin Wells takes the next step. But that's a lot to ask for just everyone to be good or to take that next step. Will we see Spencer Jones this year? Most likely. Very hard to stay healthy during the course of his whole season. So I'm sure there will be times for Spencer Jones to come up. They'll probably wait until he gets that extra year of eligibility. I don't know what the exact date is, but if you don't call a player up until I think it's sometime after April or something along those lines, you get an extra year on their contract. So a lot of teams will do that, similar to the Mets and Jonah Tong. Carson Bench, but we'll get into him a little bit later. But the hope for this Yankees team is that those guys all take the next step up and Spencer Jones comes up and he's good. But again, that's a lot to ask for out of a lot of young players. Do I think Ben Rice will be a lot better or just a consistent hitter in this Yankees lineup? 100%. I think Ben Rice has the factors to be a great baseball player. Do I think Austin Wells does? No. Do I think Jason Dominguez does? Time's running out a little bit, although he's still hella young. Sounded like a kid there, hella young, but he is. So it's not a bad thing, again, that they're running it back. It's just not exciting. It's not flashy. Maybe sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you need it to not be flashy or anything crazy in order to have a good ball team. We all know, if you are a baseball fan, that you don't have to have the best team ever assembled to win. It seems like that with the Dodgers now because of how they're winning and how they're building these teams. Diaz and Tucker and Bellinger and not Bellinger, Betts and Freeman, and, the list, I don't have to talk about them, nor do I want to. So maybe that's why everyone thinks this way. We have to sign everyone in order to win. You don't. You don't. This is baseball. And while the Dodgers have won the past 2 years, keep in mind, the Toronto Blue Jays were 4 strikes away from being World Series champions. And then even at that, in the bottom of the ninth, they had their chances. They should have won. This is not me being a Dodger hater. They should have won the game. So no matter how good the team is, the Dodgers have the best team ever assembled, it feels like, and it seems like. But they were this close to losing. And we wouldn't be talking about, repeats and three-peats and shit like that. Instead, we are talking about how everyone has to be on par with the Dodgers and spend like the Dodgers in order to win. This was only recently where teams feel like this, or fans feel like this, because of the domination of one team. I know people are going to argue the Yankees in the 90s, early 2000s, but people do not realize that those two teams are completely different. The old Yankees teams and these new Dodger teams are completely different. Those Yankees teams had Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada. I'm going to blank now, but so many guys that were homegrown that started as a Yankee. Okay, the Dodgers, I don't think they have one player in their starting lineup that is a lifelong Dodger. Literally not one. So while this Yankees team isn't necessarily built to win or beat the Dodgers, I should say, on paper, it is baseball. And all they need is for someone like Dominguez to break out and Rice to be a consistent power hitter. And you have Aaron Judge, the best right-handed hitter I've personally ever seen with my own 2 eyes. He probably will go down as the best right-handed hitter ever. He is having some of the most insane right-handed hitting, or not even right-handed hitting seasons I've ever seen and the world has ever seen in general. So you have that guy, you got a chance to win. It's not like they got scrubs around them like a lot of Yankee fans like to seem. You talk to a Yankee fan, the sky's falling. But that's only with other Yankee fans, if you've noticed. But we won't go on a Yankee fan tangent here. So, do they have enough to win the World Series? I wouldn't say on paper they do, but anything could happen. They most certainly don't have a bad team, so that is never a bad thing going into the season. They're healthy. That's new. The Yankees are never healthy. Cole is back on track. He should be ready relatively soon. That rotation is still very good. I know people wanted an extra piece, but if Schlittler is the man, like he showed us last year he could be, then why the hell not run back that rotation? They have plenty of talent all over the place. Lost Devin Williams, lost Luke Weaver to the Mets, but the bullpen is usually always fine. Bednar seemed like he fit in very well. Duvall could find success again. Jake Bird, they have guys in the bullpen. So this Yankees team is never dead. They never will be dead. It's the New York Yankees. But we will have to see how the season plays out, as always. Not much to talk about with them in terms of going into the season because, like I just talked about here, there's really not much to say because they're running it back. So running it back is running it back. They have the same team. If they perform better, great. If they perform worse, they'll still probably make the playoffs. And that's that. So there we go. Spent about 15 minutes on the Yankees. If anyone calls up and wants to talk Yankees, I'd be more than happy to. But we're going to pivot into the Mets and their outlook because there's a lot more to talk about and look at there. A lot more question marks. So it had been reported earlier on yesterday that Carlos Mendoza said that Luis Robert and Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez will all be limited in spring training. What else is new? Alvarez, man, he has to stay healthy. In order for Francisco Alvarez to be the player that I think Francisco Alvarez could be, he has to stay on the field. It's getting to a point now where we're going to reach, 3 or 4 more injuries and say, this guy's done. He can't get out of his own way. And listen, I hate injuries as much as the next guy, and they're not the player's fault. People get hurt. That's what happens. But in terms of breaking out and being the superstar player we all thought Francisco Alvarez could be, we are now hoping that Francisco Alvarez can just be good. Instead of a superstar, we've kind of passed that idea or philosophy that he's going to be a superstar. He's not going to be, unfortunately. But that guy gives 158% every single game. And that's all you could ask for. So he's trying. I don't know if he's actually hurt or if they just want to prevent him from being hurt. I know that is the case with Luis Robert or Robert. Please don't kill me. I don't know how to say it. I've been saying it 2 different ways since the minute he came into the league. But for the sake of argument, we're going to call him Robert. So Luis Robert, not hurt. Nothing's wrong yet, knock on wood. But he is another player who has dealt with nothing but injuries since coming up into Major League Baseball. And the Mets want to limit that. They are aware of the kind of player they're getting, playing 90 games every season. So they're going to take it easy with him in spring. Earlier this morning, and if you're watching this in the future, it is Wednesday, February 18th. He had a very good day today at the plate. Granted, it's spring training. I'm not calling this guy a superstar. But very encouraging signs. Him and Soto have been shooting the shit. They've been chopping it up. They look really comfortable with each other. Both from Dominican Republic. So that always helps when you have someone close to your home. You get along with them easier. And hopefully the chemistry is better this year. In terms of Luis Robert being better this year, I think if he can stay healthy, he will be a major addition for the Mets. Last year, Tyrone Taylor was starting every day. Awesome defensively. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. The raw talent is there with Robert, for sure. There is no doubt about that. The question has always been, can he stay healthy? And B, is he trying? Because when he was on the White Sox, he was on the worst team in Major League Baseball's history. Very hard to get motivated and try or care when you are on literally the worst team ever. So hopefully this is a big change. This is a big change for him. Going from Chicago's not a small market by any means, but the quote-unquote little brother in Chicago with the White Sox on the worst team ever to now a big market in New York for the little brother Mets. But this team has World Series aspirations. So this is a big ask. Can he handle it? I think he can. He seems like a pretty calm guy, calm, cool, collected. And like I said, the raw talent is there. There's no doubt about it that this guy has raw baseball talent. He's fast. He's a great fielder. He has power. Pretty five-tool in terms of everything you could ask for except contact. Strikes out a lot. Whiffs a lot. But that's just baseball now, unfortunately. You don't find many Bobby Witt Jr. kind of guys around anymore. But for what it's worth, the Mets only gave up Acuna for him. That's old news, but wasn't much. So it's a low-risk, high-reward situation. Brett Beatty now. Dealing with a hamstring injury going into spring training. Won't play much, Mendoza had said. Looks okay. He looks like he's moving all right out there in spring training. He's been practicing in left and right field, second base, third base, first base. Lots to ask for Brett Beatty, but I think he's ready. Last year, he really stepped it up. I believe in June, he had a 900-plus OPS last year. So really expecting a big season out of Beatty, hopefully staying healthy. We will see him in left field. We will see him in right field. We will see him DH. We will see him at third base. We will see him at second base. And we will see him at first base. So Brett Beatty is going to be this team's Jeff McNeil of years past. Don't know how much I love that because Beatty's pretty tall guy. Doesn't seem like he's very quick on his feet. So how will left and right field look with Beatty out there some games? Who knows? I know he had played a little bit of left field in the minor leagues. He has a good arm, so that's always good, I guess. But Brett Beatty is a rising star on this Mets team. I believe he has what it takes. He swings listen, if you're not into advanced analytics, I understand. But advanced analytics, tell us that whoever swings hard, when they make contact, the ball goes a long way. It's a pretty simple philosophy. Brett Beatty swings the bat very hard. With that comes power. He hit, 16 home runs last year? 19 home runs, I believe. So the power is there. He needs consistent playing time. How will that work out with Vientos? We'll get into that in a second. But expecting big things of Beatty this year if he stays healthy. That was the news, on those three players going into spring training so far for the Mets. In terms of the rest of the team, I've had a caller last week ask if Benj is going to play left. I had said at the time that I gave him the answer of a 99% chance that Carson Benj makes the opening day roster. A week later, and here I am, not knowing anything, as per usual, because I do not work for the team. I'm just a fan. But here I am, as per usual, and he might not make the team. They have signed MJ Melendez. They have signed Mike Tauchman. As I just spoke about, Brett Beatty will be seeing some time in the outfield. So with all that being said, will MJ Melendez get the opening day start? Will Mike Tauchman get the opening day start? Will he even make the team? Mike Tauchman has a 350 plus on base percentage in the last 3 seasons. Not many players in the MLB can say that they've done that. Mike Tauchman can. David Stern saw that, got him for league minimum, got him for a minor league deal, which is really a gut punch to Mike Tauchman because he deserved more than a minor league deal. He had a good year last year, and he's been a solid player. But the Mets get a steal for him, and I think there's a very good chance him or MJ Melendez will start in right field to start the year because Soto is commanding left and Robert is in center. So that leaves right field open. It really all depends on who performs in spring training, who impresses them the most. If they feel that Benj is really ready and he just tears the cover off the ball in spring training and there's just no arguments that you can't start this guy to start the year, then he will start. But I think he really has to over-exceed expectation to start on opening day. Either that or Tauchman and Melendez are so unbelievably bad in spring training that they're left with no choice. Even then, they might just go with Beatty if he's healthy. So a lot to think about there with this Mets lineup. It's that we don't even know what the lineup is going to be. That brings me to Mark Vientos. Is he going to play third? No, because that's Bichette's position now. Is he going to play first base? They said Polanco was going to play first base. Is he going to DH? Brett Beatty might DH. Where does that leave Mark Vientos? We don't know. I don't know. Where does that leave Brett Beatty? I don't know. Who's going to play more, Vientos or Beatty? Are they both going to play the same? Is Beatty just going to start in the outfield? I don't know. But it's a good problem to have, guys. It's a good problem to have. We have a lot of depth on this ball team that we are talking about here in the New York Mets. We have outfield depth, plenty of infield depth, plenty of starting pitching depth now with adding Tobias Myers into the rotation. He came along in the Freddie Peralta trade. The Mets are set up to win. And I think the Mets and the front office, Steve Cohen, they want to win right now. Steve Cohen said 2 days ago, every year that goes by that we don't win, I get more and more mad. Unfortunately, he can't play. There's nothing really he could do about it except put the best team forward every year. But that's what they believe they've done. That's what I believe they've done. I believe that this team is better than last year. I'd hope they are better than last year. 83 wins, missing the playoffs to the Cincinnati Reds. One of the worst collapses in franchise history. So if you're a Met fan and you don't believe in this team, I give you every right to do that because this was the biggest collapse that I have ever seen in my lifetime. I was 7 years old for those Miami years when they collapsed against Miami. So I didn't get to fully experience that as a heartbreak, but I do remember it. But that 2025 season last year was a disaster. But we're done talking about it. It's done. We're on to 2026. The Mets are looking for their first World Series in 40 years. This year is the 40-year anniversary. Baseball gods, if you can hear us, please. We just want one before we go. Just one. Give it to us on the 40-year anniversary of 86. Something. We're looking for something. A lot of questions. This Mets team could either win it all or miss the playoffs, and I truly believe that. So short time we went live today. Again, I always say I thrive better when I'm talking to you guys, taking questions, comments, phone calls. So maybe I will try to go live again tonight. I have said that in the past and didn't. I'm sorry about that. But it is a rough time. It's 2:40 right now. A lot of people still at work. School's out this week, but regardless. But yeah, so we will save some more information if I'm able to go live tonight. We'll definitely be going live again tomorrow. We'll also have some YouTube videos out that I'm working on right now. So those are recorded and being edited. So that's that. Thank you guys for watching if you watched this in the past. In the future, excuse me. Again, we'll have more to talk about later. Just don't want to spoil all the information, or all the talking points, I should say, that I have now. I'll wait for later, if maybe I have some viewers in here. And that's that. So enough of my yapping. I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe.